the more and more we choose to become aligned with our divinity, the more and more we choose to express our truth and to call back our power, you are going to get more and more comfortable with that feeling. In the very beginning, if you've been comfortably uncomfortable giving your power away, it's going to feel like a challenge. It's going to feel like a different kind of energy to be in the world you're used to, compared to going into that new energy field of expansion, meaning I take and call my power back. I express my truth. That might feel different to you, and we might get a little shiver or tremor right before we do it, but let yourself expand. Let yourself take up more space. Let yourself express without fear of what they're going to say. I feel like so many of us, we hold it back because we're so terrified of what will they think of me? What will they, think of? Will they love me? Will they accept me? And when we really get to the center of that, the core of that, it's not about the they, it's about us. What do I think about me? What do I really think about me? Do I feel I'm worthy? Do I feel I'm deserving? Do I feel like I'm capable? Do I feel like I'm powerful? And so as we really take our power back, we're not so concerned about what everyone else thinks. We're going to speak our truth. We observe and we'll speak that truth. We can speak it with kindness and with compassion and clarity. But when we are walking around and we're afraid to embody our power, we're really giving mixed messages, and we're sending out, wishy-washy signals to people around us that's creating more and more drama. So when you look at that, is it hard or easy? Try to get those words out of your mind if you can. Just delete those. Okay, hard and easy, deleted. How about I choose? I choose in this moment to embody my divinity. I choose in this moment to express my truth. I choose in this moment to call back my power because I am mighty and I am deserving. And you get more and more comfortable with that. So in a moment that you might be feeling a little nervous about that change, you just tell yourself, that inner child part of yourself, I love you, and we are getting more and more powerful and bold every day. And I say this because I've lived this. In my life, there's been times I've felt so suffocated. I felt shut down by people in my life. I was surrounded by them, surrounded by people who could give a shit what Tanya Love had to feel. Well, I wasn't even Tanya Love then, but they could give a shit about what I felt as an individual. They didn't care if I was suffering. They didn't care if their controlling energies made me feel terrible. So I had to start seeing that, and I had to start saying, you know what? Enough is enough, because this can't continue unless I keep participating in it. This cannot continue unless I say it's okay. So something that I think scares a lot of us, and I can have a great deal of compassion towards any of you that are going through change and transformation, is that when we actually own our power, there is that chance that some of those people we're standing our ground with will totally reject us, they'll shame us, they'll dismiss us, they'll abandon us, betray us, they might talk bad about us. So be it. Let them go and realize that you never had power over them anyway. And the illusion is that we were feeding them and trying to sustain them and keep them happy so that we would think we're okay with them. And it's a false sense of security. But when we really take our power back, we realize we're going to pay attention to what their energy feels like to us. We're going to feel more concerned about, do I feel loved here? Do I feel seen here? Do I feel accepted here for who I am? And if you don't, and they're threatening and they're shaming you and they're saying they're going to reject you, let them go, because those are not your core people. Those are people that you had in your life when you were putting out that other energy of thinking you weren't enough. And so you attracted those people. So we have to be comfortable with this journey of transformation, where what we had in our life at one point may not be what we have in our life in 6 months from now. And that's okay. We need to stop being so afraid about controlling that. Stop being so afraid about all these. We have all these belief systems, in our society about attachment, that we have to be at that company for 20 years, or we have to be in that marriage for the rest of our lives. even if it doesn't feel good. We have to stay with that friend because we've been friends with them since kindergarten, but they've been hateful and controlling the whole time. So we got to really look into our life and how much we're practicing and participating in attachment and how much we're really embodying our divinity, which says, I am one with my source. So whatever is for my highest and best, I welcome it. And whatever is no longer for my highest and best, maybe it never really was, but I've been clinging to it. I open my hands, I surrender, and I let it go. I release all energies no longer serving me. And if we can do that for ourselves, we release those energies. These energies could be representative of addiction. They could be representative of, deep self-loathing and depression. They could be representative of your insecurities. It could be attachments to humans, to relationships that aren't good for you. It could be attachments to, maybe our girlfriends or our coworkers and worrying about what they think when they're not even really loving to us. We got to really tune into that and start to love ourselves. And that is not really a hard thing. That is a choice. And it's a choice that is going to change your lives. I promise you. And it will feel a little scary if you're used to giving your power away. It's going to feel like such a contrast, but it's so worth the effort. It's so worth this moment of awareness, this moment of speaking your truth. Don't think of it in such a big way that it's overwhelming. Just think about it right now. Like the way this human's talking to me right now, is it loving? Is it respectful? Do they show me honor? Do they see me? Do they even care about how I feel? If they don't, you don't need them in your life. Let them go. Let them move on away so that they can go heal and you can heal yourself. And then you can call forth more loving relationships. So I'll pause. Is there any input on that or any other comments?
Well, first of all, Cindy's saying, I'm tired of my ego. It's time for it to go.
Yeah.
Jamie,
bye-bye.
Jamie is, I'll take it in difficulty.
What's that?
I'll take it in level of difficulty. He says, have you seen a movie called Chimerica?
What's it called?
Chimerica. Kymatica.
No.
Okay, so that's a yes or no answer. That's fine.
Nope, I haven't.
Then he says, how to release fear.
Sorry, what's that?
How to release fear? How can you release fear? And then there's more that Jimmy's typing. He said, I find it difficult to let some things go when I look at my ex who legally gets to embezzle money from me each month, makes it hard to forgive her. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest obstacle in my path.
Okay. Well, in this case, this is part of being in our power. So forgiveness is definitely a choice that's for you. It's not about the person. So when we're forgiving, it means that I'm no longer willing to carry anger and hatred and stress and tension and resistance in my energy field in regards to your behavior. So it's a very liberating and empowering choice, but it doesn't mean that what they did was okay. So what it does is it energetically frees you from their little bubble. So when we're in hatred and anger and tension with anyone, we're kind of karmically attached to them. It's an attachment to their energy fields. Like they have a little hose stuck to us, and it's really draining. And typically, all we're going to do is keep creating karmic pattern there. So if we don't work that out now, next life, they're going to look really good to us, and we're going to be like so drawn to them, but also have this little gut feeling that something's not right. And that will be when we go replay some stuff out with that person. So right now is when you want to deal with that stuff. And if you need help with that and you want to contact me for a clearing, I could help you with that. And it's amazing the shifts that you'll feel in a clearing. But you can start today just by consciously tuning into any energetics that are attached to you, connected to that partner, and forgive her, release her energy with love, Release her to the universe. Thank the universe for clearing that from your energy field. Not just the partner, but the energy. What did that energy represent? What is that energy mirroring to you? What is it about your own self-worth that's really triggering? And so we can go deeper into how that person came in and just cattle prodded us, an electroshock to get our attention to some deep issues that we really need to deal with. And if we don't get it, this is the beauty of life, the next partner will come along and they'll act it out until we get it. So the way I look at everything is now is the time to do your work, because if we clear that stuff now, we clear it from our energy field and we won't attract it anymore. We'll start vibing at a higher rate and we're going to draw in more loving people of integrity. Now, when there's things like people have done us wrong or, because I don't know the exact details of your situation, but if we're not playing victimizer, but we're really just being in our alignment with how did I participate in this creation, powerful and profound awareness will come to you. So everything that we have happen to us is a participatory experience. So if I was abused, which I was in my past, I could just blame it all on the person that abused me. But when I really started to process in my own healing, I saw, wow, I really tolerated that shit. I really enabled that abuse. I made excuses. I stayed attached. I stuck myself there. And so in my own feeling of not being worthy, having self-worth issues, I tolerated that. I settled for that. So when we can see that and we can connect the dots, it's very liberating for us. So now the person, the partner, they may or may not heal. They may go through life doing this to many people. That might be the character they're going to play out in this life. They're like in a movie, they always play that villain character because that's what agreements they have, soul contracts with souls, that they're going to come in and I'm going to cattle prod you and see if you remember who you really are. And so if we don't worry about what they're doing, don't even waste a minute more of your energy or your awareness on what they're doing, or if they're getting theirs, or if life's going to give them their karma. Don't even put your energy there. It's draining you. It's not empowering you. It's a distraction. So if we come back to self and we put that mirror up in our face and we start looking, how did I participate in this? How did I co-create this? What am I now ready to co-create? I am ready for new, different. So what do I have to release so that I can go vibe higher? And this is where you can have profound rebirthing and shift and shape shift, like as a phoenix, burn into ash all the old self, dying to ego. It's not a fearful thing. It's a courageous thing. And many souls, we're all going to do it eventually. I mean, we all get there when we're ready. But I really feel like now's the time, like right now, work with the light worker, go and do your work, go and start meditating, go and start finding what makes your heart happy and start loving yourself. Because a lot of times when we have really hurting and traumatic relationships that end, it really triggers some deep stuff as our inner child unresolved stuff. So if we have like abandonment issues and self-worth issues, they get triggered big time. And if we don't deal with them, if we don't honor the inner child and do the healing work, then we go and we find ways to suppress it, to numb it. We start looking and turning to addictions, distractions, and all that's going to do is procrastinate the inevitable. You're going to need to heal this eventually. So I would encourage you, whether you feel drawn to work with myself or another, to put some time into your own spiritual alignment and your healing, because that is going to empower you. And to work on in your consciousness right now, just forgiving that person. One thing that helps me a lot with forgiveness, because I've had some people do some pretty messed up shit in my life. And when I look at it and I see my part and I see their part, what helps me is when I can see that human and I can see their hurting child, their wounded child, and I can see it with compassion. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to keep enabling it. It doesn't mean I'm going to keep tolerating something. Once I see that there's a victim pattern or a victimizer pattern or some abusive pattern, let's say, I will speak truth about it now. I've done my work, so now I don't waste time. But in the past, it would be 20 years before we deal with something. And so basically you want to address it right now. You want to speak truth. And then you make your choices. If that person isn't showing trust, if they cannot be trusted and they're showing you that, then